Hello everyone. How's everyone doing today? Well, it was a good week for the Periphery last week. We won an award. We won an award at Minnesota Web Fest, which is a small film festival for web series. And these can be videos or podcasts, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But I also wanted to preview today's channel check-in by going through a couple of other items that we'll be talking about. Another one is that also last week while up in Duluth, I traveled a little bit east into Wisconsin, and I reconnected with an old couple that I introduced in a post and maybe in a short video a couple of months ago, Eldora and Joe. They would describe themselves as old hippies, but more than just that, they lived off the grid for decades. A super loving couple, super prolific artists, real positive. Just a lot of things right now that you don't hear about, maybe because there's so much chaos and negativity happening. I just loved encountering them and talking to them about their core basic but also glowing humanity. And then we got a couple of check-ins from a couple of others that we know with the channel. One of which was Leah, Leah Cook. So if you remember last summer, she was the one whose story got kind of put to the front of the line after I met her in the middle of last summer's recording of the people living at the homeless encampments. And hers was the story of being shot at a school shooting in 2005, I think, in Red Lake, Minnesota, northern Minnesota. Well, she reached out to me, and I'll talk a little bit more about that toward the end of this video. So let's start with the film festival. Well, I was awarded, this series was awarded, this channel was awarded, this community was awarded Best Minnesota Series. This was an event with many Minnesota-based projects. I'd say most of the projects were Minnesota-based, so there was a competitive field that I'm proud to say they thought we measured up against. They really liked the series Homeless. They were very impressed by the interviews, the way that these individuals were just so open on camera and likable. They really wanted to see how these people did. What I played up there was episode 1. That's what I submitted for the Film Fest. The award for Best Minnesota Series. I was also nominated for 2 awards. One was Best Documentary. I didn't get that. And the other one I didn't get was an even more flattering nomination. It was for Best Overall Series. So while I say in my thank you post online, on YouTube, on Facebook, on different social media, that this award is for the people who are in the series, and it is indeed. It is also for all of you at home listening to this right now. It all made for a very fitting jump-off point to head over to Wisconsin and meet Eldora and Joe again. The quick story there is last summer of 2022, I went camping with a couple of buddies, and we just drove by their house, and it was on a dirt road. We were headed up to Lake Superior on the Wisconsin south shore of Lake Superior, and we just saw this house with all this art, the mailbox, the fence, all the way into the driveway, all this sculpture, very colorful, flowery, just really warm and welcoming. And so my friend said, "Hey Brent, you should go in there and talk to him just like you did with Bill." And we did, and just like with Bill, they welcomed us right outside the door and inside in this case. And inside their house looked a lot like the outside, just full of art, and they were very warm and welcoming, like I said. And then at the Film Fest, I said, "Hey, I'm coming back. I'll be coming back for this Film Fest. Let's do the interview then." So on this occasion, I came, and the camera was rolling as soon as I got out of my car, and they let me inside, and it was a fantastic 2 hours.
Howdy! You're
Hi.
filming already? Come on in.
Oh,
Joe's coming.
you got a haircut.
And a perm. For my birthday.
When was that?
Beginning of September. My birthday was just in the end of September.
Good to see you, Jill. Great to see you, in fact. You too.
Well, thank you.
Right from the start, they were just so open, and so that we got their full story, in addition to the story behind a lot of their art. Joe, having been in Vietnam, and his art around that, and his getting to the edge of his comfort zone, talking about that, and then going back further to how they met, and then their life in the woods, off the grid. They built their own cabin, chainsaw and logs. They didn't have a phone, I think, for a while. They never had electricity. And that's what helps, I think, makes their stories so refreshing, and their expression so refreshing, is that they're just themselves in a real unfettered way. It's actually what I loved about watching Ed Sheeran at a concert this past summer, was just how comfortable he was with himself, and how he wasn't up there with some sort of persona or alter ego or some lavish costume or some political statement on stage. He was just himself, and it was a very pleasant self indeed. And Eldora and Joe are like that. They're just themselves, and they found each other, they fell in love, they committed to each other. There was real conviction in their life.
I told him, I said, you make me go in that other room to go to bed, I'm going all the way home.
They had each other, they had their work, they had their art. They just go all in. And they're not going to be famous for their art, or at least, maybe this channel will help become a little bit more known. And that's actually a part of the appeal too of this story with them, is that their art is lovely. They're very prolific, expressive, talented, and it's all over in their house, and I would love to help them get it out a little bit. And they do want to share themselves. They welcome people when they stop by, like I did. You'll hear that in the story of how people just swing by and say hi. But yeah, just a great story. She got a little emotional when talking about her faith and her wishes for humanity and the challenges that she sees out there right now.
And you just have to be open. This is real personal to me.
They're coming up on 50 years together. I don't know, to me it seemed like such a rare, wholesome story that I was real proud to get it. Throw in the art, throw in his service in Vietnam, and it's just a great overall story. So I'm excited to share that. Leah, if you remember, she was the one who I bumped into at a homeless camp last summer. She was at school in 9th grade when a school shooting took place, and she is literally a survivor, meaning she got hit by a bullet. She shared her story through tears, and we ended up doing 2 follow-up videos with her because people just wanted to help her. We raised a few $100 to help her get a phone and so forth. But she maintained a life out on the street beyond that, which she talked about extending it. So she talked about it. Listen, so past summer when we met her, she said, "Oh yeah, by the fall, I hope to go into treatment and turn things around." But that didn't happen. And I would see her throughout the winter on occasion, or hear where she was or what she was up to. But she just kind of lived that same life throughout the past whole year. But I got a text from Leah, and she said, "Hey Brandon, this is my new number. I'm in treatment." And she's 45 days clean. So at this point, she's been in treatment for about 55 days. And I just want to throw it out there to you, to the universe, that Leah is in treatment and sober. And at the same time, she has had some tragedy. Her mom passed, and her brother. So it's, I mean, I say that like almost like an "oh by the way" kind of thing, and it's what's so incredible when you follow some of these stories, whether it's inner city violence or life on the reservation or in these encampments, is how common death and tragedy is. That said, her having a couple within a span of a month or two while in treatment, she made a point to mention that, and patting herself on the back a little bit to say, "But I'm still sober." And so I want her message to be passed on to those here who remember her and care and love her. And if you have any thoughts that you'd like to share in the comments or just in a prayer, please send them out, and hope they reach Leah either via a comment or via a prayer. She reached out to me because, well, she knows we care, and it means something to her that she got all that support last summer. I wanted to give you the update on Leah. I wanted to preview the video with Eldora and Joe, and I want to thank you all again for being a part of this channel and helping all of this work come together for that award, which really validates, I think, just how much, even on a stage with professionals in a formal setting like a film festival, these cell phone recorded YouTube videos are really making a difference, really having people pay attention and appreciate this art of storytelling that we do here on the Periphery. So thanks so much. I'll try to be a bit more frequent with these videos. I do them as often as I can, making this one a little longer with a lot to share. And I look forward to whenever it is that I can share the next one.